You know, this whole Trump as tyrant, as supreme leader bit is getting very old, very tired, and unfortunately very dangerous. When Trump first took office in 2025, he claimed that he was going to conquer Greenland, and then he claimed he was going to conquer Canada. Now he has conquered another country, one a little closer to home, one a little easier to get, and one that's going to definitely have the backing and the funding of his big oil buddies. Because make no mistake, the people of Venezuela are not the winners here, no matter how bad you think their president was. Doesn't care at all about those people. He only cares about his buddy and the oil and the power. George Washington warned us about this all those years ago, and he told us that being president didn't mean that you were the king. In fact, he very reluctantly accepted the job as president. He was done. He had done all his fighting, he had finished, and he felt that the presidency was really better taken over by a young man. Our other founding fathers convinced him, and thankfully they did. And he served very well for the first 2 terms of presidency, and then he bowed out. He said, I'm done. I've served my time. Someone else needs to go, because we don't need in this country, in this brand new democracy of ours, what we don't need is a monarch. We don't need a supreme leader. We don't need a king. So when he gave his farewell address, he warned the country all those years ago about the danger of human nature trying to grab too much power, and the mechanism put in place by the founding fathers called the Constitution to avoid that. I'm going to read from his farewell address. He says, "It is important likewise that the habits of thinking in a free country should inspire caution in those entrusted with its administration, to confine themselves within their respective constitutional spheres, avoiding in the exercise of the powers of one department to encroach upon another. The spirit of encroachment tends to consolidate the powers of all the departments in one, and thus create whatever the form of government, a real despotism. A just estimate of that love of power and proneness to abuse it predominates the human heart is sufficient to satisfy us of the truth of this position." In other words, mankind is prone to be power hungry and want control. And the only thing to stop that is a government that follows the law, that follows the plan that the founding fathers put together, which was the separation of powers in the Constitution. We need to keep that in mind as we move forward towards November and an election that hopefully will help bring things back into an even keel. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and be a student of history.